He's a desk-sucking, pen-pushing, blotter-jotter staff officer who is Blackadder's main nemesis. Today, we're looking at the life, campaigns, and most importantly, the medals of Arch-Brown-Noser Captain Darling. Blackadder Goes Forth is set on the Western Front in 1917. Captain Kevin Darling is then aged in his early 30s and is a slimy staff officer and main top aide to the mad General Melchett. Safely sequestered in a luxurious chateau 35 miles behind the lines, nothing floats Darling's boat more than routine administration, such as dealing with lorry loads of paper clips and helping General Melchett with his dicky bladder. However, his ribbon may show a hidden side to this supposed rear echelon yes man. Darling's medal ribbons show one medal for gallantry, surprisingly enough, 2 campaign or service medals, and 1 foreign award. Let's start with Darling's campaign medals first. His first award looks on the surface to be a Queen South Africa medal, but judging by Darling's admission that he lived in Croydon near London and worked on Pratt & Sons before the war, could it be that this instead could be a Queen's Mediterranean medal? And I'll go on to explain. It's possible that Darling, in his teens, started working at some faceless solicitors or accountants in the late 1890s, and desperate to toady up to the bosses, joined a part-time volunteer unit in London. These part-time units, known then nationwide as either militia, volunteers or yeomanry for the cavalry, were a fashionable pursuit and a good networking opportunity for businessmen. The rough 19th century equivalent, say, of the TA Territorial Army or Army Reserves. Many urban units would include university undergraduates, clerks, civil servants, typical office workers or administrators of the period. In the days before networking events, if you wanted to climb up the corporate ladder or the greasy pole, this was the perfect opportunity to press the flesh. To a patriot and desk jockey like Darling, who described himself admittedly under torture as British as Queen Victoria, joining an organisation like this would seem totally natural. At the outbreak of the Anglo-Boer War, however, in 1899, as further British Army formations were required for the war, it was decided to use these part-time units to free up troops for the front lines in South Africa. Furthermore, over the course of the war, up to 51,000 militiamen served in South Africa, either supplementing regular formations or serving in their own regiments. Malta and Gibraltar, being strategic assets for the British Empire, needed to be garrisoned, and it's possible, therefore, that Darling's unit was deployed there. So for the sake of showing a new medal, we can imagine Kevin Darling sunning it up in the Med rather than sucking up the dust in the Transvaal. A militia battalion from the Royal West Kent Regiment was called up to garrison Malta, I believe, so it could fit. No doubt a young Darling would have revelled in policing sentry rotations, inspecting ceremonial guards, and counting rations. Resembling the Queen's South Africa Medal, the Queen's Mediterranean Medal was awarded to officers and men of the militia battalions which were sent to Gibraltar and Malta to take over garrison duty from regular forces who were drafted to the Cape. Don't quote me on this, but I think around 5,000 were issued. I've also read that the medal was awarded to garrisons who guarded Boer POWs, prisoners of war, but these POW camps were generally in St Helena rather than Malta or Gibraltar, so I'm not sure about that. If you know, please explain in the comments. The only difference in the medal to the Queen South Africa medal is the reverse, rather than stating South Africa inscribed, has Mediterranean. In 1908, the Territorial Force was created in order to be a reservoir of military manpower that could be called up to serve the Empire. It would be a vital resource that was only called on a few years later. In the first 2 months of the First World War, Territorials volunteered for foreign service in significant numbers. Many units were actually sent to India to garrison the country for the duration of the war, which freed up British and Indian regular units to deploy to fight either the Germans on the Western Front or the Ottomans in the Middle East. Other units were sent immediately to France, such as the London Scottish Battalion. Darling chose as his second campaign medal the 1914 Star, which would line up with him deploying to France early on. We've covered this on multiple videos before, so I won't go into it. But nearly 380,000 1940 stars were issued to British personnel. You may ask why this wasn't the 1914-15 Star. That's because that medal was only authorised by Army Special Order in 1919, 2 years after Blackadder Goes Forth was set, whereas the 1914 Star was authorised in November 1917, so just fits in. Darling could have deployed ahead of his unit immediately at the beginning of the outbreak of war, focusing on crucial things such as logistics or arranging billeting for the troops. By the war's end, the Territorial Force had fielded 23 infantry divisions and 2 mounted divisions on foreign soil. Darling's third medal is a foreign one, the French Cross of War, Croix or Croix de Guerre. I was always hopeless at French, so that's as good as you're going to get. This is the rough equivalent of a mention in dispatches for British forces. Darling could have received this in his capacity as a staff officer liaising with the French, maybe sending them crucial supplies of stationery or toilet paper. At some point during the war, Darling failed selection for the elite Women's Auxiliary Balloon Corps, but understanding how difficult transfers are, quickly identifies Blackadder's scheme to dodge frontline service, applying for the Royal Flying Corps. So my microphone randomly decided to reset in mute here, but I was explaining that Captain Darling did have a girlfriend called Doris, and had he survived the war, Darling would have liked to have kept wicket for the Croydon's Gentlemen's Club. Lastly, we have a gallantry award for Darling, the Military Cross. The MC was instituted during World War I as a way to recognise gallantry among junior officers and warrant officers, those that were previously overlooked in the existing system of military honours. Essentially, there was this big vacant gap between a Distinguished Service Order, which was available to majors and above, and a Victoria Cross available to everybody. The Military Cross was instituted in December 1914. It's an ornamental cross decorated with imperial crowns, with a royal cipher appearing at the centre. It's made of silver and suspended from a plain silver suspension bar. Some recipients have individually inscribed their names on the reverse, though it is issued unnamed. The ribbon shows 3 equal stripes of white, deep purple and white. From 1931, the award was extended to majors, and also from 1937, on the reverse, the year of the award is inscribed. I have no idea what act of bravery Darling would have had to have done to have achieved this, though I would imagine assisting General Melchett daily with his toiletry requirements might be enough. That said, perhaps Darling's nervous twitch is related to frontline service, or eating baldric slug. Let me know your theories in the comments. Therefore, for Captain Kevin Darling's medals, we have Military Cross, 1914 Star, Queen's Mediterranean Medal, and the French Croix de Guerre. So next time you watch Blackadder Goes Forth and Captain Darling, remember, he may not just be a snivelling staff officer and overall prat at the back, but instead a decorated war hero with some form of shell shock. Thanks for watching. I hope you found some value from this, and I'll see you in the next one.